everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Knee Slapping K-Pop podcast. I am Kayla, and today I am here with Sammy.
Hello.
And in today's episodes, we are continuing our K-pop company reviews, and today we're going to talk about Yuehua Entertainment.
Woo.
Yuehua, so we've really reached the realization that once we hit this company, we hit, like, really big companies.
Massive companies.
Because we were like, oh, we still have a couple more to go till we hit, like, the big three. And then I wrote the script for Yuehua, and I was like, no, we're already in massive companies already.
Because here's the thing with Yuehua Entertainment. We know too much about this company generally.
Far more than most people know about this company.
Absolutely. Entirely because of our love for Unique, and most of the artists in this company I truly enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of this is also the fact that we watch so much Produce.
Every season of Produce that exists currently.
Yep, and from that, I have learned so many people. And the other fact is, I don't think a lot of people in K-pop associate Yuehua with anything other than one or two groups that they know, not realizing the sheer scale of this company.
There are so many people in Yuehua Entertainment that people just, like, don't think are in Yuehua Entertainment because it's such to most people in K-pop, it's such, like, an obscure company that there are, like, big artists under them that people just, like, have assigned to different companies in their own minds.
And the other thing is, what also really made us want to do the Yuehua episode this year is the fact that, one, this is a company we have a lot to say about, for one. It's a company that, in many cases, a lot of people would, like how we did with Starship and Jellyfish. Wait, no. Fantagio and Jellyfish, sorry. A lot of people would just combine this with another company. No, they have too much to talk about on their own.
So much stuff going on in this company. It's ridiculous.
And the other thing is that I know most people know Yuehua now probably from Everglow. That's probably their biggest group currently that K-pop fans associate. And I've seen people put Everglow in a different company.
In, like, Stone Music or something.
In, like, Stone Music. And I'm like, no.
Which isn't really a company? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, is that a company? Who knows? But also, no, they're just not.
Yeah.
So to give a little background, we're not gonna super go into the history of Yuehua Entertainment. That would take 5 years. And also, our series is only based around us talking about how they manage their own groups, not how they managed everything else going on. The other thing is that since Yuehua is a Chinese company, a lot of their groups are Chinese and only did activities in China. So the actual us being able to talk about how they manage them in China is very difficult because there's only so much information we can get, and they're in China.
The reason we are talking about them is because they have a lot of those members, like, have been seen on Korean survival shows.
Trust me, there are a lot of Yuehua artists that are just not here because K-pop fans have never heard of them.
Yeah,
I've heard of them. K-pop fans have never heard of them. Every single group we are talking about has at least 1 to 2 members that a K-pop fan can be familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Or
like all of the C-pop specific groups we're talking about have at least 1 or 2 direct connections to actual K-pop. Other than just like being in Yuehua Entertainment. They have done things in Korea. So you are likely, someone out there, if you're really into K-pop, will know about them.
Exactly. So I'm just going to read the disclaimer we put up here. Yuehua Entertainment is mainly a Chinese entertainment company. They have a lot of influence in China and are big 3 status in China. We will get to specific examples of this because they relate to these groups. But when you look at how that company is perceived in Korea as opposed to how they are perceived in China, they are big 3 status. They have Yuehua family concerts in China. Like, they are massively popular and massively influential there. They also have a South Korean branch, which obviously does not have the same level of influence. We're covering the specific, everyone is related to K-pop. We could go on for another 3 hours just talking about the artists they have under their China-specific branch of their company. Because also, there's a lot of them because they're a massive entertainment company. So do you want to begin with our first artist? One that I haven't thought about in years.
Yep. So our first artist in Yuehua Entertainment is Han Gang, formerly of Super Junior M. So in 2010, after he had left Super Junior M and terminated his contract with SM Entertainment, he signed under Yuehua Entertainment, and he is still there, and that's where he promotes.
Yeah, and like he's doing a lot.
He is mainly just in China.
Yeah.
Again, he doesn't do anything in K-pop really, but he was in Super Junior M. So, and now he just does like C-pop stuff and whatever.
I mean, he's extremely popular in China. Like he does a bunch of shows. He's judging shows. He's doing a bunch of singles. It's good. I mean, honestly, what I will say for Han Yang is that he was the first, I believe, was it just foreign idol or specifically Chinese idol? I believe he was the first he's at very minimum the first Chinese idol in K-pop.
Mistakes.
Nope.
Since
in fact, the literal first Chinese idol sues SM for mistreatment and leaves
in 2010.
And then in 2010,
and then that's going to continue to happen multiple more times in the future.
Yep. It happened multiple times, and really the only thing SM changed was that they found better lawyers, so they won the lawsuits. But otherwise, honestly, they keep him working. They keep him doing a lot of stuff. I mean,
he's been there for 12 years now, so
he's been there for 12 years. He's still a celebrity in China. Honestly, I don't know if there's much more to...
I mean, he's clearly happy just, like, being allowed to, like, have his promotions and everything there, so I don't think he's doing anything wrong.
He was on Street Dance of China 4! Or 3. I forget which season he was on. But the man was a dance instructor on Street Dance of China 3. The man is still working quite regularly. Alright, so the next group we have is a group we talk about a lot. Often. We will never let their memory die. Is Unique. So Unique debuted in 2014 as 5 members with their song Falling in Love. It was not a success. They would go on to do more songs that were... Looking back, it's very difficult to understand how the perception of Unique now, because it's so hard to figure out, like, were they nugu-dugu? Were they just, like, middling K-pop stars? Because I don't think they were ever, like, truly unpopular.
Right.
It was just that they were not, like, massive. Or even... They were mid-tier, I would say, K-pop. And then they proceeded to have this hiatus and then explode. So,
separately.
Separately. We're gonna go through each member of Unique individually.
It's impossible to go through Unique in, like, a chronological timeline, so, doing it member by member is just way easier.
Because the fact of the matter is, Unique as a group did not have that much,
They had a debut and they had one comeback and that was it.
Yep.
And then they did, like, the Penguins of Madagascar
And then they had the Penguins of Madagascar.
And there was another, like, random cartoon song that they did as well, but I don't remember what it was.
That too. They did a bunch of soundtracks. They did...
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and SpongeBob the movie.
Yeah. Weirdly, the 2 songs most people associate them, Falling in Love, and then Yuehua was right after. They would proceed to do a bunch of other songs, like, smaller songs, more fan songs, and then they would go on to do more soundtracks. They did like a New Year's thing. None of this was extremely popular. So I think really their last thing they ever did was they did a new... So Yuehua was 2015. That, Love Again, and Best Friend, all of that was 2015. That is sort of the last pure comeback they ever did. The last song they ever did was a 2017 New Year's song. And that's it. And then we would go on to have nothing from Unique again, and they would go on to do solo projects that would give them a lot
significantly more success.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, because it's been like 6 years, we do have to go through each member individually. This might be the first and only time we do this.
I think it's the only time also because there are only 5 members. It's easy to just go through each one of them at a time.
Yeah.
But, it's would it be necessary for us to do this for, any other group?
No. Because also most other groups you can talk about as a collective, and it's not that difficult to talk about the management.
And no one else has, has solo activities that deviate from group activities, as much as Unique does.
Fair enough. Because the thing with Unique is that it's not even that we could talk about them collectively because they've come back together. No. They haven't yet. They could.
Have not
Please.
Done that.
You could. I think you should. You can. Please go on. But they haven't. So, let's go through this. Also, it is one of the only groups where as we are going down, because this is in age order, as we're going down, you will see them get...
It really is an increase in popularity.
It really is. It's not even that we leave you in suspense. Age left you in suspense.
Mm-hmm.
Zhao Jiyoung is the oldest member of Unique. He is Chinese. In 2017, he went on Rap of China. He also did a solo debut in China that same year. And then in 2018, he went on the survival show All for One and won first place, debuting in the boy group New Storm in 2019. Now, All for One is so we talked so much about Produce in a bunch of other episodes, but Produce 101 has destroyed how Asian music variety shows are done, because this is also a Produce, not style. I can't find this show anywhere. I couldn't watch any of it. I've tried. I remember us trying to find it, back when we were doing the Produce episodes.
It's, pretty impossible to find just things about that show and the group generally.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. New Storm is fine. And Jen, because it's also called All for One, which is not the best phrase to have to just look up. And so it's, Produce styled, nothing to do with Produce, not even that we consider a Produce ripoff like Idol Producer. But, just Produce ripoff show that just aired and that made this group. And that, I cannot tell how popular this group was. I think they did fine. But C-pop groups are never made to last, even when they're permanent. And this was a temporary group.
In a weird way, it's almost like temporary groups are, better for C-pop.
Oh, absolutely.
All permanent groups might as well just be temporary groups. But because they're, but it's, I feel less, it's almost, less effort and promotions are given to permanent groups than they are temporary groups. So it's almost better for your career to be in a temporary group.
Because at least with a temporary group, there is no pretending that this is forever. They know that they only got to put money in for X amount of time.
And because there's a time limit on it, while you're in there, you are given as much resources and promotions as they can fit in that time period anyway.
Let's be honest, it happens the same way with Korean groups, with the Korean produces, where the temporary groups are mainly filled with solo stans who are going to follow this group forever, or follow the person that they want while they're in the group and then forever after that, and not particularly care that much about everybody else. That's why you see such a disparity between post-produce groups. Some of them do extremely well, some of them do not, and it's mainly because people just followed the 1 to 2 people they liked, and not necessarily every member of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And then in C-pop, they sort of have taken that, and that is sort of the mantra here. You go on this, and even the group is for your solo promotion. Most of these people post these groups do not end up going to a different group. They just do solo. They do solo music, or they do acting.
Most of the Chinese survival shows are used as more of a resume booster for someone's solo career than they are anything else. Where that's definitely not as much the case. Whereas if in Korean survival shows, a lot of the people who go on there do want to debut in a K-pop group eventually.
Yeah.
They're not so going on there to boost their own solo acting or whatever sort of tangential career, but that's more so the case in Chinese shows.
Yeah. So he did that. Then we have Kim Seung-Joo, who was, I believe, the Korean leader of Unique. He enlisted in March of 2020 and was discharged in September of 2021. He has done some minor acting work in
like,
different
really
shows.
minor acting.
Minor acting work. But that's about it.
Yeah.
I hope he does well. Maybe we'll
He's
get a
like the
comeback.
member of Unique who has been like lost the most. Like he has really done the least out of all of everybody here.
I know. I want more from him. The thing also with this is that all of these members are still in Unique.
We haven't gotten official disbandment of Unique. Because I also don't think Unique is at contract renewal yet. So we haven't gotten like disbandment or like contract termination
would have actually put them about now. It's this year.
Yeah. But
we haven't heard anything from it. So then that's him, really. Lee Wenhan would go on to be on Youth with You Series 1, which is the unofficial produce, so that would be the sequel to Idol Producer. And he placed first and debuted in U9, so good for him. Then after U9 ended, because all of these groups have the shortest shelf life in China, he debuted solo in China in 2021. I think he's doing pretty well for himself in China.
All of the Chinese members of Unique doing very well.
Yeah. He's done a bunch of solo stuff. He's done a bunch of what's it called? Television shows. Like, he does acting. He does variety shows. A lot of variety shows. So, honestly, he's doing quite well. Unique is... and he has he has an EP. Good for him. Then we get to the big ones. So, Woods. Or, as he went... It's so weird to call him by his real name.
I know. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, I look at it and I'm like, who? And I'm like, ah. So, Cho Sung-yoon, which is his real name and what he went by in Unique. Mm-hmm. He did not go by a stage name in Unique. And then, even I think when he debuted solo...
It was a different name.
It was a different name. And then he went by Woods.
He didn't start using Woods until 2018.
Yeah. I also don't think he went by Woods on Produce, did he?
No, you're not allowed to use a stage name on Korean Produce.
Oh, yeah, you're not. I forget. Yeah, so he would... Even in X1, he went by his real name. So, like, really, it's only... I would say really only post X1 did he start going fully by Woods. So, in 2016, he went on Show Me the Money 5 and was eliminated early. Because,
he's not really a rapper. Woods was a rapper.
But also, remember, in Unique, he was a rapper.
He used to be a rapper. X1, he was also kind of a rapper.
Which is also weird. And then in 2016, he also made his solo Korean debut under, oh god. Lucy. In 18, he switched his stage name to Woods. In 2019, he went on Produce X, finished 5th, and debuted in X1. X1 then was a,
X1 lasted then 1 month, exactly.
1 month. You know, you were watching a train crash. Mm-hmm. And then he went under Woods fully and has been putting out some of the best solo music in K-pop. I don't know what else to tell you. Mm-hmm. Amazing. He's so good. And also, as we'll go into, he's done a lot of work with so many of these other artists, too.
A lot of overlap between Woods and the other members of Yuehua Entertainment.
So much. And just the other members of K-pop. Mm-hmm. Just everything else in this industry has just been influenced by Woods and Yuehua Entertainment.
He has produced songs for a lot of, like, really random people and groups.
Yeah, it's weird. So, then we have the final member, the youngest member. The legend. The man, the myth, the legend, if you know from us, Wang Yibo, who, was in Unique. Then was also doing a bunch of work in China at the time as well, before he, while Unique was still happening, like, he hosted a bunch of shows. He was in Day Up since 2016. He'd been doing that show for years. Then in 2018, he would host Produce China 101. That is the first, official season of Chinese Produce, which is a different show than the show than Youth with You, where his other bandmate is in. Yeah. It is associated with Produce Korean produce because it's still the same entertainment company. So from there, he was more involved with that, because we will get to it at the end, but we have an entire section about Yuehua Entertainment and the produce series.
Because it's very extensive, and it's more than any other company has been involved in the produce series.
Yep. And then in 2019, the Untamed would be released, and he would become a megastar. His star would have eclipsed everything else from this group. He is now massively successful. He has done a bunch of other extremely well-known dramas. He has a bunch of dramas and movies set for release. He is judged three seasons of Street Dance of China.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 3 and 4, and he's going to be on 5. He has done a bunch of variety shows. He is just an icon.
He is one of China's biggest stars currently.
I know. It's wild. So that's the story of that's the tale of Unique. Mm-hmm. And how do we feel about the Yuehua management? Because honestly, I am shocked how well they turned
It's really shocked from going to an essentially nothing K-pop group to some of the biggest stars in China and one of the most popular male soloists in K-pop. So it's honestly wild how this happened.
I know, it's insane to me. I mean, I think that a lot of it is luck and all the other stuff, but I do think that there is a way that at the very least, they could have just taken Woods and Wang Yibo, and that would have been, let the other ones by the wayside, but, they tried with everybody. They tried with everybody, everyone managed to get somewhat of success.
Everyone who won on a survival show won that survival show. Yeah, 2 of them got first place on the survival show they won on, so.
And then Woods got 5th place, which in Produce X is no small feat, considering he came from a no-name
no one cared about Yuehua Entertainment in K-pop, so.
Yeah. Plus the fact that by that point he was already, I feel like Produce tends to skew younger, especially with their winners.
Yeah, Woods was pretty old. He was pretty old for being on Produce X, yeah.
He's our age, so he's my exact age, which is...
He is.
Also weird. So yeah, he would have been 22?
Yeah. That's on the older side.
That is. So yeah, honestly, I think that they managed to turn this group, because could you imagine if Unique was together now? That would have been sad.
I don't know if Unique were to have a comeback now, I have no idea what that would look like or what to expect. It would also feel pretty weird seeing them all together again.
But would I be ecstatic for it? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Unique. Honestly, wild to me. They turned that around quite well.
Yep. Our next group in Yuehua Entertainment is really only a fraction of a group.
It's 3/12?
Not 3/13 of a group.
3/13 of a group.
What percentage is that?
3/13.
About 23% of a group.
It's 23% of a group.
So this is WJSN with Starship collaboration. So this is only going to be talking about Shang Zhao, Meikui, and Wanyi, because those are the only 3 members of WJSN who are under Yuehua Entertainment specifically.
For as much as people are very interested in the fact of WJSN and Starship Entertainment, that they don't have these 3 members, guess what? Those 3 members were never Starships to begin with.
Those 3 members are also incredibly more successful on their own.
Absolutely.
Than WJSN is in a whole group, so.
Yeah. We'll get to
I don't think they have any need to go back to WJSN, nor do they want to, because they have all 3 of them have massive careers in China and are doing way better than WJSN could be doing as a group, so.
Oh, yes.
So, in 2016, 3 of them debuted in WJSN with the other members of WJSN who are under Starship. In 2018 is really when we get the split from Starship and WJSN, and they're never gonna come back. They're gonna split, and they're really, once this happens, they are not coming back to WJSN after this point.
I believe that there are, moments where they are, still, in the beginning, referenced and still brought up, and, they're, almost what's like a quote guest appearance, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe now currently, I don't even think they mention them anymore.
I think Starship is just continuing on with WJSN as if these three were never in the group to begin with. And honestly, like, it doesn't really matter.
But especially considering the fact that they never officially left.
They haven't. They are still technically on hiatus from WJSN.
It's a long-ass hiatus considering it's a longer hiatus than when they were there.
Yeah. They were in WJSN for 2 years. They've been on hiatus for 4 years. So
exactly.
So in 2018, two different things are gonna happen. First, Meikli and Wanyi are gonna go on to produce China. I think Meikli wins that, and then both of them debut into Rocket Girls. At the same time, Shang Zhao is gonna be a mentor on Idol Producer. Idol Producer, the rip-off, plagiarized version of Produce China
that
101, the official Produce.
But also nothing would happen because that show would go on to just rebrand to Youth With You, have essentially the same concept and continue on for like 3 more seasons until it inevitably became the downfall of Produce in China. Please go watch our Youth With You 3 episode if you want to know more.
Yes, that's the one where we talk about just the general end of like survival shows in China.
Yeah, how because of that show there are no more produce style survival shows in China because the government was like no more.
The government put an end to it.
Yeah. So yeah, even from this point you'll notice that Shang Zhao
so Shang Zhao is going to be a mentor on a show while Meikli and Wanyi are going to go on participate in the show.
Now at this point I think all of their popularity
is more similar.
They're more similar. But at the beginning Shang Zhao was so greatly pushed in China that she was constantly
She was also pretty greatly pushed in Korea when she was in WJSN. She was like very much one of the more popular members.
Like, I will say this about her. She's a star, man.
She is.
Like, she really knows how to... She's fun. She's funny. She can do variety. She's a good... We'll get to it, because I have all their acting work here, because they're fucking constantly acting now. And they're, she's a star.
Shang Zhao has some, like, really famous, like, Idol School Athletic Championship, like, rhythm gymnastic performances, and I think is
the first rhythm gymnastics performance on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Which, good for her.
So yeah, after that point, once Meikli and Wanyi debut into Rocket Girls, there's gonna be a whole thing with Starship and WJSN as if they're gonna be in the group or not, and like a whole bunch of stuff happens there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really at this point, they are going to leave WJSN and they're never gonna go back.
Essentially.
In 2019, Meikli solo debuts, and in 2021, Shang Zhao will solo debut. In 2021, Wanyi is going to go on to Stage Boom. Does pretty poorly on Stage Boom, but...
a lot of people did pretty poorly on Stage Boom.
It's only really her and Pinky that do exceptionally bad on Stage Boom.
The 2 people that K-pop would know do pretty poorly on Stage Boom.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yuki did great, though.
Yuki did amazing. I loved Yuki on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but also these girls would go on to be massively successful actresses. Like, Meikwi was in Jade Dynasty 1. They are all in, like, they're all getting main roles in shows, which is great. Shang Zhao probably has done the most acting. She has been in Legend of Awakening, World of Fantasy, Falling Into Your Smile, Lie to Love. She's got like 3 different shows on the horizon. And then Shen Yi did Dolo Consonant and Sweet Teeth, which I like both of them. And also she has a screenwriting credit in a movie called Look Into His World.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which also stars Lil Ghost.
Oh, fun.
Her and Lil Ghost are the leads in that. So honestly, they're doing great. Thriving, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So is that all for our
That's
WJSN girls?
Yeah, the 3.
All right. So next
23% of WJSN.
23% of WJSN. Next we have the group.
Next spelled with a 7, though.
Next spelled with a 7 because there's 7 of them. So there's no T.
It's a 7.
If you've never heard of them, they're a pure C-pop group.
You have seen some of them before.
You have seen 2 of them. Because in 2017, Justin and Theo would go on to produce 101 Season 2 Korea. And the thing with them is that you have seen them because really it's mainly the replay performance.
Yeah. Justin is like the star of that replay performance.
Justin is truly the star of that performance. He is the best part of that performance. Mm-hmm. It's the replay performance where they're all dressed in pink.
And they look
essentially.
Like the hella cute boy who's the center is Justin.
The hella cute boy with the hat that's
so
the
cute.
center. And then the other kid that has the suspenders.
Mm-hmm.
Justin has the hat, Theo has the suspenders.
Theo also went on to produce 101 Season 2 under the name Zhu Zhangting, so that's like
which is his
what
real
he
name.
would have been, there.
Yeah, Zhu Zhangting. You see him far less. He's the one that actually does the front flip or the back flip, I forget.
I think he does he does a F flip of some type.
Yeah. That's really the performance that you would have seen them in. They would have done I think
Justin's
one other
in the Shape of You performance. I don't remember
somewhere
where else Theo is, if he's around or not.
I'm not sure.
He might not
but
have
they
made
didn't do particularly great. I still love Justin, though. I loved people loved Justin when he was on that show because he was adorable.
He was adorable.
I mean, the other thing
he's gonna make a hard switch to going from adorable to like just a rapper in a year.
Yeah. So, he would go on to do, both of them, all the members of Next would go on to Idol Producer in 2018. So Idol Producer is the first season of the Youth With You series.
If we're keeping track, this is the show that Shang Zhao is a mentor on.
That's the show that Shang Zhao is a mentor on, and that's the show where the next season, Lee Wenhan would go on to win first.
Yes.
So that's the timeline we're following
here. Produced timeline,
which is different than the timeline where Meikui and Shenyi are on the same season that Wang Yibo's a mentor
that's a different version
show.
Of Produce.
Because there are two concurrent essentially produce series in China at the same time.
Airing at the same time. One of them is officially licensed Produce, and the other one is plagiarized Produce.
Essentially. What else we got? So from there, 3 members, Chen, Justin, and Theo would debut in the group 9%. 9% is a temporary group that lasted a year, and then that would be finished. In 2018, they also...
That's when the official... That's when the next...
also Next
Yeah, that's
debut.
the official, actual Next debut.
And then in 2020, they had a weird half Korean debut that was released by Stone Music with an animated video with Korean subtitles. I believe I didn't know what that was, but
yeah, I remember it happening.
Yeah. All the members of Next, I believe, are Korean trained, or at the very least, Theo and Justin were, because I vividly remember in Idol Producer, this is when you realize that Yuehua Entertainment has power. It's because when they are coming into... Idol Producer set up exactly like a Korean produce. They come in and they essentially are coming into that company room with by
all
company.
Of the 101 seats on a pyramid type thing. It's the
identical. Same. This is why that show got sued
for 80% plagiarism.
80% plagiarism. But you look at it, and they treat Yuehua coming in like it is JYP.
Justin and Theo walk into the room, and they are
separate.
They are celebrities.
They are celebrities because they are remembered from Produce season 2. They cannot mention it by name, but they mention that they are foreign trained, and that they are they were on a show before this. Mm-hmm. They cannot mention it by name, but they do. And then the rest of the members come in.
Yes.
Which is what also puts me in a weird space of, are they all foreign trained, or was it just Justin and Theo?
Right.
I'm not sure.
Also, to clarify, Idol Producer was, it scored 88% plagiarism.
Ah, yes. It was an identical show. Yeah. It is trust me, there are more elements of Produce in Idol Producer than there are on Produce China 101.
Easily.
I'm gonna put it out there.
Easily.
Having watched all the seasons, but also, I highly recommend, if you've never seen a Produce season, only watch Idol Producer. That is the only one you need to see. Trust me on that.
Yes.
Trust me on that. But yes, next is now mainly all doing solo work. Justin is a regular on variety shows. I have the list here, and oh my god, you got just when he's on a regular, I count at least like 15. He's on The Great Escape. He's on The Great Wall. He's on there's what? Surf, I forget what that one's called. Go Fishing Season 7. Which is just a bunch of games, China Trending, Go Fighting. He's on so many different shows that it's insane. Theo, I know, debuted as a solo artist, and then also he's in a drama. A drama I couldn't watch about ice skating, which is fun. And then, Fan Chen-chung is actually in, I believe, a show with Shang Zhao where they played the leads together, which is also very cute. So yeah, no, they're doing fine. Mainly as soloists, but they're doing fine.
It's really, in the C-pop realm, like, the group activities is kind of just meant as, like a pushing off point for everyone else's solo careers. Because it's like, it's not even, those three are definitely the most notable. But like,
at least for us.
Yeah, but a lot of the other members of Next are just doing their own solo work and, like, thriving doing that as well. So
yeah. Like, there is absolutely nothing going on with Next as a collective group.
Yeah, like, Next, like, doesn't make music, but that's not a bad thing for any of the members of Next.
That's not a bad thing for C-pop, because that's sort of how C-pop
That's kind of how C-pop works. Like, you release a couple songs, like, for a couple years, and that's really all you get as a C-pop group.
Yep. And you're lucky if you get that.
Oh, yeah. You maybe get 1 to 2 songs, and that's it for most of them, so.
Yeah, and then they'll figure out who is the more popular one and go from there.
Mm-hmm. Alright, we're gonna come back to Korea now, finally.
Woo!
Because we're gonna get Everglow, which is definitely the most notable of, like, Yuehua's Korean artists for, like, most K-pop bands. So, in 2016, Shihyun will participate on Produce 101, Season 1, the original. And then in 2018, Shihyun and Yerin will go on to Produce 48. Neither of them will win, although Yerin does pretty well. And then in 2019, the two of them will debut in Everglow with the rest of the members. And Everglow does pretty well as a group.
Yeah, Everglow is pretty good.
One of the more notable K-pop girl groups right now.
Yeah, I like Everglow. The thing with Everglow is also partially why we did this, because no one remembers Everglow is also in Yuehua Entertainment.
I know.
Which is wild.
Yeah. And
honestly,
and also it's like, because it's like we're making now a hard switch from C-pop back to K-pop, they don't do a lot of solo activities, but as a group they are thriving, which is really what you want in the K-pop realm.
In the K-pop realm, yeah, because that's the thing, is I do think Yuehua is actually pretty good at doing what the market they are in is good at. They do not try to use the K-pop method in C-pop. They do not try to use the C-pop method in K-pop.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to do what is going to be the best for their group and, like, have longevity.
Yeah. They don't have, like, as, I guess, regular comebacks as some people would like, I guess, but I don't think that's bad for them.
No. I mean, they have not had a comeback for a little bit this year.
Because their last comeback was in December, so it's been a little bit now.
So it's been a little bit now, but, like, nothing off the rail, because they are also, like, 3 years old at this point.
Right. They are older than I think a lot of people realize now.
Yeah. And they do have pretty regular comebacks.
They do. And they've won a music show, and they do really well internationally as well. So it's like nothing about their career has been bad so far.
Yeah.
They also, like, I haven't had any real major scandals either, so.
No. I mean, the most major scandal that Everglow's ever had is that people were upset that it was starting to turn into one member.
Oh, Mia and
Mia
friends,
and Mia and the Pips.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's...
But that's like, people just like, that's like what people find stuff to complain about when there's nothing else to complain about is like...
Yeah.
That's like kind of
like, there are no real scandals here.
And they switched leaders, I know, but that's not really a scandal. That was nothing wrong happened with that. That was just they decided to switch leaders. Yeah.
So next we have Name, which is another C-pop group. So this is really the one where I will say most K-pop fans probably do not have any connection to Name.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fine. So they debuted in 2019. Zihan and Ruhyun went on Youth With You 2. Now, Youth With You 2 is still in the realm of the idol producer, Shang Zhao, Justin Theo, Wenhan, that side of produce.
Yes.
And then their other member, Jaja, is a former member of Nature, which, Ken, K-pop girl group Nature, where her stage name was Gaga. Honestly, I didn't realize that Nature had disbanded.
I don't know if they did disband. I think she just left.
Ah, well, they have about 2 comebacks. They had a pre-debut show. They're treating them pretty well. For a C-pop group, they have decent amount of content.
Yeah, they just debuted too, so it's there's not a lot. They haven't had a lot of time to do anything either.
Yeah. They've done a bunch of covers though.
That's fun.
I found that they have a cover of Pirate. They have a cover of Pretty Savage by Blackpink. They have 2 songs already, which for a C-pop group is pretty good.
For not even a year debuted yet, so
yeah. So I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that's them. Honestly, I think they're doing pretty well with them in terms of C-pop. I don't know how their reception is because it's impossible to know as Americans.
Hard unless, because it's the other C-pop groups we talked about have done other activities and have separate careers, so it's easier to sort of gauge the success. But for them, it's you don't really know yet because they're so new still.
Mm-hmm.
So, going back to Korea, we then have Chauyana. People probably also forget she's in Yuehua Entertainment.
I forget she's in Yuehua Entertainment sometimes.
Yep. So, in 2018, she will go on Produce 48 with Yurin and Jihan. She will win, and she will debut in IZ*ONE, and she's there for 2.5 years. She recently solo debuted this year in January in 2022.
Doing extremely well.
Very well. Very good soloist. One of my favorite new female soloists. So, a lot of people thought they were going to put her in Everglow, but they did not.
I thought they were going to put her in Everglow.
We thought she was going to get put into Everglow.
But you know what? She makes a great soloist.
She does it so good as a soloist, and she's very unique as well. I really like her solo music.
She's having so much fun. She's going to have a comeback. By the time this comes out, I think the comeback
will be have out. Had a second comeback by the time this episode comes out.
I'm just going to say
it's probably
right now, I think it'll be good.
It sounds good.
I cannot speak for certain, but who knows? 90% sure it'll be good. Honestly, I love what they're doing with her because she is so fun. She's doing exactly what she should be doing.
Yeah.
Not what, because also she sounds so different than every other Yuehua anything.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't, that's why I forget she's
it's
there.
Now seeing what concept she's doing for solo debut, I was yeah, it's good she didn't get put into Everglow, because Everglow was doing a completely separate thing.
Yep. So that's her. Honestly, there's not much to say because
because she just debuted she was in IZ*ONE and then she debuted solo. So
yeah,
that's really it.
Put out a bunch of debuts very quickly, one right after the other.
A lot of survival show winners in Yuehua Entertainment.
Yeah, well, fine. I feel like Yuehua does the best at survival shows of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So then lastly, we have Tempest.
Tempest, the newest Yuehua group.
Tempest, the newest Yuehua group, which is wild because Yena also debuted this year, but
yep,
still already she's a Sunday.
And Name was in December of 2021.
December
so
of last year,
3 people right in a row.
Yeah. So in 2017, Hyunsub and Lou would go on to produce 101 Season 2. They debuted as a duo of Hyunsub and Eungwang, which is interesting because again, I hate that you cannot go with a stage name out of produce. I think it's so stupid.
Yeah.
In 2018.
Well, to be fair, he didn't have that stage name until Tempest.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Hwarang under the name Song Ji-won would go on to under 19, obviously not win that. And then in 2020, Hanbin competed in Island, where he didn't win, stayed there for a little bit. Everybody assumed they were going to debut him solo, but in 2021 he left B-Lift to sign under Yuehua, and then in 2022 they debuted all together as Tempest. I like Tempest.
I do too. They are also very different than a lot of K-pop boy groups. We coined the term male teen crush in the 2022 debut video,
because that's the thing with it is that we can't call it teen crush because female teen crush and male teen crush are completely different concepts.
Because using the term just teen crush almost assumes that it's a female.
That too, but also female teen crush is giving Wiki Mickey. Mm-hmm. Male teen crush doesn't sound like that.
Yeah,
it sounds different.
Male teen crush is just it's fun.
It's fun. It's bright, colorful.
Yeah.
But they're not cute schoolboys.
Right.
But they're not bad boys. But they're also not adults.
We're just having having a fun time as teens. Is what
we're fun teens having a fun teen time. It's so hard to figure out what that concept is.
It's funny because it's half of this group are on the older side too. So it's funny that we call it teen crush when it's Hyunsep and Young produced season 2, which was a long ass time ago now.
It was forever ago. That was 5 years ago at this point.
I'm gonna look up the ages of Tempest members because now that I'm curious, because they're definitely not. A lot of them are not teens.
No, they're not. Hanbin is not a teen, specifically.
We're in early 20s for a lot of them. Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad to be doing a teen crush concept.
Yeah, their youngest member is 20, and then their oldest is only 23, 24. So yeah.
That's good.
20s.
I mean, it's a very close together aged group. I think they're the thing with Yuehua, now that we've gone through all of their groups, is taking out WJSN because Yuehua has nothing to do with WJSN.
And it's just it's 3 solo females who have gone on to do acting, really.
But looking at from Next to Everglow to Name to Yena to Tempest, even to Unique back when they were together, which that was years ago, all of these groups are very different. So different. And I can understand why, especially because there is a lot of interaction between all of the Chinese Yuehua members. Especially you constantly see Shang Zhao interact with people like Justin and Wang Yibo, and that's always a constant interaction that we see happen a lot. Mm-hmm. Those 3 specifically, because I think they do so much variety shows.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They go on variety shows together a lot. And that's really fun. There's a lot of interaction with the Chinese members of Yuehua. With the Korean members, if I have not pointed out that Everglow, Yena, and Tempest are the same group. Yeah. I don't remember.
We've talked about this very weird disconnect we have where we're I am fully aware that Woods is in Unique, but it's I always forget that Woods is in Yuehua Entertainment. It's yes. I know that he's in Unique, but for some reason the secondary step to Woods is in Yuehua Entertainment is always I forget about that.
Wild. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to look at it like that because that's the same thing with Yena, is that I know that everybody was gonna put Yena in Everglow. That was the rumor for forever. Mm-hmm. And then then by association she's under Yuehua Entertainment because that's the only way she was gonna be in Everglow. Mm-hmm. But I also like that what I will give Yuehua is that they give concepts to every single one of their groups, and those concepts fit them. And it's not entirely based on what is popular at the time, because if it was, Tempest would be making noise music.
Yeah.
And it's not.
And Tempest,
it's noise adjacent.
Tempest makes really good male teen crush music.
Male teen crush. Yeah. And Yena is not doing what soloists have a little bit more freedom to figure out a concept, but no one sounds like Yena right now.
Yeah.
Even Woods is able to just do whatever the hell this man wants, I think. Because if you even compare it to what he did last year, this year has been entirely different. This year he's giving a little more MGK, which we love. Yep.
So we wanted to end this episode with the produce roundup of Yuehua Entertainment, just to really nail in the coffin of how much Yuehua Entertainment is involved in this franchise, and it's literally all over the place.
Considering that it's insane, somehow they managed to play. There are seasons of this show where Yuehua Entertainment is sending, because at some point, I think because Youth With You had 2 male seasons in a row, somehow both seasons of Youth With You and Produce and Chuang, really that's what that became, would go on to have same gendered seasons starting around season 2, and the 2 season 2s, Chuang 2019 and Youth With You. Everything from there would go on to be same gendered. So I feel Yuehua was able to. They had to pick one show or the other. So that's the only reason they haven't been on all of the Produce seasons. Yeah. Because they don't have enough trainees to divide them where it's like 1 and 2. That just didn't feel correct.
The only seasons they haven't been on are the 2 seasons in Japan, because obviously they haven't sent anyone to Japan. And then it's Chuang 2019, 2020, and 2021. So the 3 Chuang, when they had to pick to send kids to like one or the other.
Because before they sent their female trainees to Produce 101 China, and they sent the male trainees to Idol Producer.
Right, but once they started having same gendered seasons, it's like they had to pick one or the other.
Yeah, they can't just keep sending that. Mm-hmm. Which is wild that China had 2 same gendered seasons.
That makes it like even dumber.
Series.
Like, it's just like,
it's so
why
dumb.
are we doing that?
It's wild.
Alright. So to start off the Produce Roundup, going back to 2016, Produce 101, the original in Korea, it's where we get the first person of Yuehua Entertainment, where Shihyun of Everglow participates in that. In 2017, Produce 101 Season 2 Korea, Justin, Theo, Hyunsub, and Uiwang all participate on that. 2018, we get Idol Producer, where all the members of Next participate. Justin, Theo, Fan Chang win. Shang Zhao is a mentor on that show, and Woods produces It's Okay, which is one of the finale songs of that show.
Woods also would go on to produce a bunch of songs for 9%, also would produce a bunch of songs for Next.
Yeah.
And just a bunch of songs for
Woods does a lot of music production for like Chinese branch of Yuehua Entertainment. Woods does a lot of random music production or all around. 2018, we also have Produced China 101, where Mei Kui and Wan we participate and win, and Wang Yibo is the mentor host on that show. In 2018, we also get Produced 48, where Yiren and Yena participate, and Yena wins that show. 2019, we get Youth With You 1, where Wenhan participates and wins first place on that.
First place.
2019, we get Produce X, where Woods participates and wins that show. 2020, we get Youth With You 2, where Jihan and Rohang of Name participate. And then in 2021, we get Youth With You 3. This is a member we have not talked about because he is a trainee. His name is JoJo, but he is a Yuehua Entertainment trainee. He participates and wins that show, so he is
and so he is in, what is that show? What is that?
No, not Into One.
No, not Into One, the other one.
IX Form.
X Form.
IX, whatever.
Which is also called IX Form. Yeah. Technically, it's IX Form, 9, but X Form. It's 9. Yeah. Also, there are other trainees that would go on to a few of these seasons. We're only mentioning specifically
only the ones who win
that you know, really? And the winners.
Yeah.
And also JoJo, the only person we cared about that series.
Yep.
I love JoJo.
JoJo also kind of had like an additional hosting career before he even went on Youth With You 3, so he was like
and also had an entire hosting career while on Youth With You 3.
He's like already like a mini celebrity while he was going on that
he was there as a mini celebrity, and also they would just give him hosting roles.
He hosted every single game they played because that was just his career.
Yep. He was good at it.
Yes.
He's very fun. I love JoJo.
He's very cute.
That's the thing with this company. How many trainees does this company have?
It's like a rite of passage. If you want to debut in Yuehua Entertainment, you gotta go on a Produce season.
You don't gotta win. You just have to
go. And most likely you're gonna, if it's in China, most likely you're gonna win.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's a Korea, you're likely to maybe not win first place. JoJo didn't win first place. But you're gonna win. You're gonna possibly get in the group.
both won the Korean equivalent, and then like a bunch of people won and got first place in the Chinese.
I did not process that technically Justin, Theo, Hyunsub, all Tempest and all four of them were there.
Yes.
At the same time.
Next and Tempest together on Produce 101 season 2.
I didn't think about that. Honestly.
And then it's like they definitely got split up by countries after that point, because it's like we're gonna have the Korean boy group and then you're gonna have Chinese boy groups. So they got split,
here's the other thing. There was
together.
no China Produce, so they had to send Justin and Theo over
there. They
did,
because that didn't exist yet until China had the time to plagiarize it.
It's wild to me, this company, because the other thing is that I don't think that there are that many scandals this company sort of had to maneuver. We usually tend to talk about
the biggest quote-unquote scandal Yuehua Entertainment has had was the splitting from WJSN, which isn't really a scandal.
It
and
isn't.
Half of that scandal involves Starship Entertainment to begin with.
Exactly.
So it's like
half of that also involves how Starship Entertainment handled everything.
Yeah.
Which is probably a negotiation that they probably did poorly with Yuehua Entertainment.
And I feel like
also, these girls look happier.
And at this point, it's probably easier for Starship to just run out the contract than to try to officially, like, just
take
try
them
to,
out.
like, yeah, take them out and terminate contracts. Because it's probably just better to leave it in the vague, like, gray area.
It's wild to me, because that's the biggest scandal I've seen about these groups, and that's the only thing I can talk about.
Yeah.
And it's like, we usually tend to, like, judge a company by how they manage their scandal of their group. When you don't have scandals, what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
How do we judge Yuehua Entertainment? Because honestly, I'll give it this. Every single person here is successful. Unknown about some of the newer, like, I can't say that Tempest is gonna be massively successful long term, or
but they're
not
or
also anything, but with the information I have,
the Tempest is like also one of the best selling boy groups who debuted this year still. So like, they're still doing well.
Like, I can't see into the future to judge the long term there, but like, it is one of the only companies where I'm like, they're all successful.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them, like, massively successful, too.
Massively successful.
Like, a bunch of them.
Then they all seem happy. Like, there are people that are still here. Like, fucking Handgang has been here for, like, 12 years. And he's still there.
Mm-hmm. Like, you're not staying in a company for 12 years unless you're happy with your career
unless
there.
You're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're also looking at it like, Unique is still there. The members of Unique are still there and getting promotion. There are still like the WJSN girls are. They were taken from WJSN, where I feel like a bunch of them, other than Shang Zhao, who was being pushed.
Yeah.
The other two were not.
They were not given a lot of anything. Yeah. To do there.
And now they're fucking massive.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Next, which they took a loss on Idol producer to like fame and fortune in China.
Yep.
Like, honestly, I have, what are, there's gotta be some negatives.
But it's like, negatives? What are they?
Where are they? Like, they also are not following, I gotta also give them credit, other than maybe a little bit with Everglow, they're not following trends to just make generic groups.
Right.
Yena's definitely not following the trend.
Right.
And it's benefiting her. Tempest is doing male teen crush, a term that didn't exist until we made it up.
We created this year.
Name is doing well. I don't know what the trends in China are. I don't know. I don't know how do we judge this?
Because it is
what
hard.
Do we do?
Like, it is hard because most of them are in
half
China,
of this
and like we can't really say for what's happening there. But it's like. They have, but like of the people we do know who are massively successful in China, it's like, well, there's nothing bad to say there. So
nope. It's like, what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the other thing is that even though we were talking about like members of Unique that are not as popular, other than Seung-Joo, who I don't know where he is.
Yeah.
Even Zooyoung and Wenhan, who are they're not Wang Yibo or Woods. I see them on variety shows a lot of times. Like, there are constantly Yuehua family, like, they keep them working.
Yeah.
honestly, good for them. Good for everybody. Everyone is working, everyone's doing well, everyone's making money. I can't say anything. How the fuck do we judge this? Because now we gotta put them on the list.
We have to give them a
score. Yeah, for anyone's first episode, we have a running ranking of the current companies that we have already judged.
Yes.
And would you like to remind the people?
So this currently stands with FNC with a 9, Woollim with an 8, Starship with an 8, Fantasia with a 7, Jellyfish with a 5, and Cube with a 4.
Alright. So, here's the thing.
I'm inclined to give them a 10.
I'm inclined as well.
Because it's like, because FNC is a 9, but they also, FNC has
problems.
had many scandals to deal with. Yuehua hasn't had no scandals.
But that's the thing is, can I judge them by how they handle scandals if they
there were none
scandals? Also, I mean, I'm looking at the list of Yuehua Entertainment people. I'm just looking at a list of groups. I'm looking at a list of artists. I'm looking at a list of everything, and they have so much stuff. They have a bunch of the girls from the Girls Planet, the Chinese Girls Planet girls are Yuehua trainees. A bunch of different, there's so much happening. And I don't know. What do we do?
I don't know.
Do we give them a 10? They a 10? Plus the fact that we haven't even, there are things on here that we didn't even talk about because they're only in China.
I know. And it's I'm trying to think. It's the only thing I have to complain about is I think Everglow needs more comebacks. Could be better, but it's there's nothing other than it's they could use more comebacks. But it's that's the only thing I really have to say.
But then I'm am I encouraging them to overwork Everglow?
But I'm that's not even that bad. I'm give Everglow a couple more comebacks. That's not even really that big of a complaint.
Here's the question, Kayla. If we give them a 10, do we want to give a multinational corporation a 10 out of 10 in terms of...
Yeah.
Do we give them a 9.5? Because there's always room for improvement?
Sure.
Are we those teachers?
Because I also feel weird giving them a 10.
A 10?
I feel I don't want to give anybody a 10 is the other thing.
I think a 10
but they're definitely better than FNC.
FNC.
Who's a 9.
So I think we gotta give them... We've now introduced half points.
9.5.
9.5 Yuehua Entertainment, number 1. Because honestly, I have no... complaints here. And I don't also just want to be nitpicky and find complaints because there are companies that have actually had various problems where I'm honestly, the fact that you got to give credit for the fact that this company has managed to find artists that have not caused problems and also just done a good job at keeping them happy. And we know from people like Han Gang, he could have left. He left SM before.
He left and started a lawsuit.
If he was being mistreated, I think he would have been gone years ago.
Exactly.
Honestly, 9.5 Yuehua Entertainment.
The current
Bravo.
winner.
Not what I was expecting when we started this.
No, that we would end up here, but here it is.
With a 9. Honestly, thinking about just the rest of the year, we're not getting a company like Yuehua.
If anything, it's definitely downhill from here, and it's also downhill from a majority of the companies we've already talked about too. So
yes, absolutely. You compare this to our episode on Cube.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's RBW will probably be in the middling. But
yeah. So before we didn't mention, our next company is going to be Rbw Entertainment.
Yeah. RBW also a massive company that a lot of people don't realize that, so...
because we are also talking about their acquisitions.
Yeah.
As well.
Not
fully about their acquisitions.
Not fully, but we will be mentioning that they have acquired several other K-pop companies.
Yes. It's exciting.
And then we get into Big 3 and Hybe after RBW, so...
Yep. So yeah, we'll go through all the Big 3. We'll talk about Hybe Entertainment.
Hybe Entertainment will be in December.
Hybe Entertainment will be a 3-hour episode, considering that Hybe Entertainment, or Hybe Conglomerate, is currently making more groups to add to that episode.
Yeah, it's we're getting a new group is gonna add on episodes.
We'll have 2 more groups, technically, to add to the episode. Whether or not and audition debuts or not is thing, but we will have to talk about them.
Yep.
It's wild.
That's why we have to push them off to, like, the last month of the year. So we wait for their, like, 3 to 4 groups they're debuting this year, so.
That's wild. But yes, somehow we gave the multinational Chinese corporation a 9.5 out of 10. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yep, but that's where we're
at.
But
here we are.
I mean, maybe K-pop companies just gotta suck less.
Yeah, honestly, maybe it's K-pop companies' fault.
This is more so a reflection of, like, maybe K-pop companies can be better.
Or maybe it's a reflection of maybe it's probably better that we don't get translations of the bad shit that company does.
Yeah, because also it's like 9.5 with an asterisk, because it's like we don't know half of the shit that goes on in China.
Yeah, it's a 9.5 asterisk, kind of a fake win, because all the bullshit that happens in China, I have no way of knowing about.
I also feel like Yuehua has the pull to, like, cover up a lot of shit in China, too.
Absolutely.
So it's also an aspect here.
So, like, again, take this opinion with a grain of salt, but at least in terms of the
from
bullshit
what we
Korea,
currently know about Yuehua Entertainment and what is publicly available from an international standpoint,
disclaimer. Yeah. Everything 9.5 out of 10.
So many disclaimers on that, but this is what we have to go off of. So
exactly, and also disclaimer at the beginning of the disclaimer at the beginning of the episode about how, like, they're also managing a bunch more artists, whether badly or well, that we 1 do not follow, 2 do not care about, and 3 have no way of knowing that much about their careers because they're entirely in China.
Yep.
But otherwise, this was fun.
It was very fun. I love Yuehua Entertainment.
I do too, man. That's the thing with Yuehua Entertainment, is that they're a company that a lot of K-pop fans really like. Mm-hmm. You just don't realize that you like. You just don't know,
yeah. It's hopefully been educational for some people, I guess.
Here's another negative. I feel like there can be more interaction between
the Korean artists?
Korean Yuehua artists.
Yes, that's very true.
Because there's a lot of interaction between Chinese Yuehua artists and also the members of Unique.
Yes.
The Korean members of Unique also get that interaction in there, and they love Woods, and they love all the members of Unique.
Yes.
When you get to Everglow, even though they do remember Everglow. They covered Everglow at the Yuehua family concert. Everglow was not there,
right? But they know that Everglow
they were referenced.
Yes.
So honestly, that's more.
But I would like some Everglow and Yana Woods Tempest interaction.
I know.
I would like that a little bit more.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah,
that could be so fun.
So that has been our review of Yuehua Entertainment. We are available on all major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We also have a YouTube channel where we post all of our episodes along with fun clip videos occasionally as well. And we also have a Twitter account and an Instagram, which are linked in the description of every episode. And with that, we will see you next episode. Bye!
Bye!